I'm Renee Ritchie, your creator liaison, and in this series, we're talking to some of the smartest experts in the industry who work behind the scenes to make some of the biggest creators even better.
I say this a lot, but anything that gives you a better insight into who your audience is incredibly valuable.
So when you get a new client, what is the first thing you start to look at?
Funnily enough, views. And oftentimes I find people think I'm going to go in and build a huge spreadsheet with correlation tests and all this sort of stuff. And that can come down the line. But the first thing I'm looking at is views and particularly views over time. So how has the channel trended over time? Are there specific months or years even where they've really performed well? And what about that period led to the high performance? But then also just, one of the simplest things is what is working really well on this channel? What are the most viewed videos? Can we brainstorm 10 or 20 or 30 ideas that take what made those viral and what made those successful and incorporate those into new videos? Oftentimes I think people think, oh, I've done that, therefore tick the box, that's done, I need to move on. Whereas with me, sometimes I look at that idea and say, is there a way we can repeat it just with a different twist? Is there a way we can staircase it? So maybe just take it up another level? Or is there a way we can just adapt it into a new format or a new idea?
Yeah, that really resonates for me because, we are under the impression sometimes that everyone who looks at our videos watches every single video we put out. But then when you actually dig into the numbers and you look at things like average views per viewer, it's a tiny amount of people who are watching any significant portion. And I think it's like, they're not going to notice. We'll notice, maybe our parents will notice if there's one or two videos that are similar, but nobody else is going to care.
I have this feeling with my own channel because I'm like, oh, people are going to know I already said something similar to this before. I always need to provide something completely novel and new every single time. And I do think it is good to, constantly be innovating and trying different things, of course, but sometimes relying or going back to what has worked and just hammering that point home or maybe addressing it from a different angle is, a great way to make better content.
You are famous for breaking down the top, 3 things that a huge creator has done to be successful. Is that how you think about things internally as well? When you're looking at a channel, you try to break it down into the most important aspects?
Yeah, pretty much. But instead of the 3 things they're doing well, it's the 3 things they're doing bad quite often. So we'll just go in and we'll look, okay, where are you misallocating time and resources? Like, okay, a thumbnail can make or break a video and you're spending maybe 3 or 4% of the total allocation of time on that thumbnail. If we were just to say that 40% of the video's performance is down to the thumbnail and the title, and 60% is down to, let's say, how good the video delivered on that, the retention, the satisfaction. If you say to someone, are you spending 40% of your time on the click? They'll be like, I'm spending like 1% of my time on the click, which is really interesting. And I'm not suggesting people spend 40% because that's a lot, but maybe 10% of the time could be spent there. Maybe 15% of the time could be spent there.
Is there anything that you think people aren't paying enough attention to in analytics? Any hidden gems that you like to point out?
I really like understanding what sort of cluster of YouTube we're inside and what other channels are related to our channels and who our real competitors are or similar channels to us. I often find people just think, oh, it's just the other channels in my niche. But when you dig in, you realize that you're actually you might be in a different cluster of YouTube than you thought. You might be in a different category of creator than you thought. So I really like going into the other channels your audience watches and other videos your audience watches and seeing, are these creators that make similar content to me? Is there something I can learn from them? Is there something that my audience is watching that I should be making or considering, or maybe I can adapt or improve or twist one of these ideas that they're having success with? Another way to do this, go into a video and see where the suggested traffic is actually coming from. So which videos are actually recommending your video. And it gives you a nice idea of being like, oh, that's what kind of cluster of YouTube we belong in. This is where we are.
We have a ton more genius level guests coming your way. So hit that subscribe button and get with the contenting.